Bonaduce, life coach. Danny Bonaduce, life coach.
That's Danny Bonaduce, life coach. That would be me. By the way, we also take your emails at lifecoach@kzok.com. Emails to the life coach at lifecoach@kzok.com. But you can call me right now, 1-800-252-1025. Life Coach brought to you by Goldberg Jones, Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE.
Speaking of Goldberg Jones, Divorce for Men, Rick Jones will be on the program tomorrow at 7:30.
Is that true? That's awesome. So if you have, because it's really a home run every time he's on, and it's really good legal advice. And, he gets paid $1 or $2 to do that. And if you want to get through to him tomorrow, he will impart that knowledge to you free of charge. All right, let's talk to Alicia. I believe, calling from Austin, Texas. Morning, Alicia.
Hi. Hi, good morning.
Good. So you listen to us in Austin, Texas?
Yes, I do. I just started listening to you guys.
And why don't you give us a critique?
I'm sorry?
I said, why don't you give us a critique? What do you think of the show?
I like it. I really like it a whole lot.
Oh, good.
I really like it a whole lot.
Nice. So what can I do for you, Alicia?
Well, I'm feeling guilty. I've been helping my daughter take care of the grandkids, and I have a job working from home, so I have to pick them up from school.
Right.
I have to take care of them during the summer, and I'm just so tired of it. I'm 51. I want to enjoy my life.
You're 51 and you've got grandkids that you need to take care of. Let me see if I've got this in perspective. You haven't had a day off in half a century.
Pretty much.
Yeah. No, if you're ringing up your kids, I'm not off by more than 10 years with how old your kids are. So you were raising your kids who then went around and did you the great service of having kids of their own and, in a way, not being responsible enough to take care of them on their own. So you've been working every day of 51 years.
Yes, me and my ex-husband, because he took care of him too quite a bit.
Well, that's very nice. Most people,
years I've had him a lot.
Most people don't give their ex-husband or ex-wife any kudos at all. That's pretty cool to mention that. So, what is your question for me, Alicia?
Well, I'm trying to get over the guilt. I cut my daughter off about 2 weeks ago and told her I'm done.
Right? What'd she say?
I am done taking care of the children.
What'd she say?
She's very upset with me, and she won't talk with me.
You know
and
what?
She says she can't afford child care, and I told her, you're going to have to figure it out.
She's going to have to figure it out, Alicia. This is, I got to say, the way it's gone with you mathematically, raising the kids and now raising the grandkids, it's been just hardcore the whole time. But on the good side of your ages, you're still really young. If you do decide to hold it together and say, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm not taking care of your kids anymore, it's all about me right now. You're only 51. There's nothing you can't do, no place you can't go. I mean, let's think of old people. What do old people do? They play bingo or whatever. She's 51. She can go to concerts. You're younger than Mick Jagger. For God's sakes, you should go rock out with your socks out and not feel guilty. And if you're going to feel guilty, that's the cost of doing business. You're going to feel guilty. You're a wonderful girl. There's nothing wrong with feeling guilty. There's something wrong with not doing anything because you're going to feel guilty. You're doing the right thing. Go enjoy some of your life and then come home to help her out. The kids are still going to be young. She's going to still be young. Take a few years off just for Alicia. And when you come back to help the kids, you'll feel more like a grandmother than you do at 51 years of age. You're too young to have given up everything one more time. You gave it up all for a guy. Then you gave it up all for the kids. And you don't give it up for the grandkids. Go do something that's all about Alicia. And if you feel guilty, great. Feel guilty, but do something for an extended period of time that's all about you. Thank you very much for the call, Alicia.
If you've got a question for the life coach, pick up the phone right now and call 800-252-1025. Any kind of question, he can help you. Make the call.
Yeah.
Change name if
you're
you
going to be a slave to that guilt. You're not going to do 1,000 things that you could do because of that guilt.
800-252-1025 or email lifecoach@KZOK.com. Peg in Burien writes, I am dating a guy who has made it clear that he never wants to get married. I have always dreamed of a traditional marriage, a couple of kids, a house with a picket fence. I really like this guy, and I'm wondering if I will eventually give up that dream and come around to his way of thinking, or maybe he'll come around to mine. What do you think?
I think, believe it or not, if it's a gamble that you're willing to take, I think that's the thing to do is find out who's going to come around to whose way of thinking. There will be a time, and I'm talking from experience here, that he realizes I can't deal without her. I can't do without my girlfriend. I can't do without my love. And then he's on your team. He'll get married, and that'll be that. On the other side, now, I've never done it. I get married. I like getting married. I do it all the time. It's like a hobby with me. And doing anything later, you're going to get married. But the fact of the matter is, I don't see that you have. I was at a wedding this weekend, and I'm watching the bride and groom, just lovely young people, young, healthy, a lot of energy and stuff going on there. And they said a few words, And then they were married. And I thought, are they actually different from what they were a second ago? They were just, I love you. Do you love me? Yes, I do. Do you love me forever? Yes, I do. Do you love me forever? Yes, I do. Okay, thanks, bye. And then they were married, and that's a thing. Everything's different. We just spent $50,000 on that, or however much it cost. Why don't you just insist that you're married? So I would say if you really love this guy, and it sounds like you do, stay with him and see how it shakes out. And then later, if you hear some kind of clock ticking, you can push this with him a little bit more. On the other hand, I always say this, if you're this kind of person and you can do this, and it's important to you and he doesn't want to get married, shop for a new guy while you're still with him. There's no reason to walk around single and brokenhearted. I say go from one guy to the next and see if that guy wants to get married. But right now, I think you're in a good deal and you should stay with it.
And people do change their mind.
Yeah, they do.
I swore I would never get married.
Yeah.
I really, really had no intention of ever getting married, and then last year I did.
No, I never wanted to have any more kids, and now I still don't. But now I talked to her about having kids. If she wants to, we should have kids. I'll have the operation.
800-252-1025. If you've got a question for the life coach, you should be calling that number right now. Dave and Puyallup, you're up next.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, good morning, Danny. How you doing?
I'm great, man. What's up with you?
I'm good. Well, my wife told me last night, our sex life has slowed down. And I don't know what's wrong. I mean, it's whenever we have sex, it's always late at night. And,
right.
I got to work in the morning, and I'm tired. So
all good, all reasonable things. Was she complaining or just pointing it out?
No, she was just pointing it out.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think anybody was hassling you about this. Hey, Dave, do you love somebody else? Blah, blah, blah. I don't, it's normal. I cannot say that my sex life has not slowed down. It totally has. And at first, I was nervous about it. It's like not being able to run as fast as you once did or things like that. But if nobody's complaining, I think it's completely okay. And I do still feel as close to her as you ever did.
Oh yeah, I mean, I feel close to her. It's just I don't know I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's slowing down.
Because how long you been married?
14 years.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens, man. If you think you've got a problem, I don't think that you do. This is what happens, and you should tell your wife, well, this is what happens. You said, yeah, I noticed it too. That's the do-all, end-all of this conversation. There's nothing more to be said. But if you think you'd like a little more spring in your step, Sarah's Filthy Forecast is brought to you all the time, at least once or twice a week, by Innovative Men's Clinic. It's innovativemen.com. They deal in testosterone and therapy for things like that. I deal with them, and I think it's really good, and that's all the rage today. So if you think your wife is right that this is a problem you two need to address, maybe give these guys a call. On the other hand, I don't think it doesn't sound like she was complaining to me. I think everybody in your house is just growing up and maybe even more in love than they were when things were all fireworks and crazy. Fireworks are nice, but they can't go on forever. I like the way things are going in my marriage, just kind of even-keeled, that I've settled into my life. Yeah, sure, I'm getting a little bit older, but it's all good, and I kind of like that. It's very comforting. So, if you think you got a problem, and I don't think you do, check those guys out at Innovative. But like I said, I don't think you got a problem. I think this is the way life goes, and it's great if you get to know about it and get comfortable with it. Thank you very much for the phone call.
Good luck to you, Dave, and you're normal.
Yeah, you're normal on this. 14 years of marriage.
Life gets in the way sometimes.
Absolutely. Here's what happens after 14 years of marriage. You have a little less sex, you get a divorce. Go with the less sex.
800-252-1025. Call that number now. If you've got any kind of question for the life coach, you can also email lifecoach@KZOK.com. Courtney in Edmonds has written, Life coach, I'm having trouble getting over a divorce. My sister's divorce. I am so mad at her ex who cheated on her and who has been a total jerk throughout the whole divorce process. They have 2 children together, so he's still part of our lives, but I don't really want him to be around for fear of what I might say or do. Something about my feelings seems slightly irrational since I wasn't the woman he wronged, but I'm having trouble moving on. What are your thoughts?
No, I think you're fine. You know what? If you do something to my sister, my family, he cheated on her, broke her heart, made her cry, wasn't there for the kids, and that's what happens. There are more things going on when you cheat. There are more things going on than you just were intimate with somebody else, which is pretty bad for most people. Most people can't get over that. But also, he should have been with her and the kids during this. Did he miss a birthday party? Did he call somebody else else's name. It's a real drag when you start cheating and don't pay enough attention. So I don't think it's anything weird about you that you're like all have your panties in a wad over the treatment he gave your sister. It's right. You're a really good sister. He is in your life, and there's nothing you can do about it, because imagine if you chase him out of your lives. You got kids to deal with. I don't say, bury your feelings. Let him know what a scumbag you think he is. When, I got to tell you this, when I got a divorce all those years ago and people started bearing their souls to me, I just bit and grinned and bared it. I knew I have this coming because of my behavior. So he knows he's got this coming. He's not going to be shocked that you feel this way about him. So let him know. Get it all out in the open.
By the way, this is Danny Bonaduce, life coach.
Damn right it is.
I just want to mention before this hour comes to a close, we will be playing a very important musical artist.
Yes.
But we do have time for a few more callers.
As your life coach, I will tell you to listen carefully.
Yes, that'll be happening soon. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But we have time for you to solve more problems, Danny.
We do. That's what I do.
All right, let's put you on with Brad in Enumclaw.
Hey, Brad, what's up, buddy?
Good morning, Sunshine.
Morning, Sunshine. What can I do for you?
Well, partner, I'm trying to get on with a large firm here in Seattle. I've done everything. I've passed everything except for the background came back. They say they go back 7 years, but that's right at the edge of legal problems I had back then. I was totally naive to the laws about DV and what have you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what to do. I'm really scared they're going to send it out to an adjudicator for the last word on whether or not I can get the job.
Well, what were you convicted of 7 years ago?
Well, actually, 9 years ago, I was convicted of the DV, fourth degree assault, I think, domestic violence. Basically because I was carrying a TV down the stairs and put a hole in the wall with the corner of the TV before I fell. So they said, well, that's active violence because, I said, whatever. I was naive for the law.
What would they adjudicate you? Level 1, 2, 3?
4.
Level 4.
Well, domestic violence 4.
Now, doesn't that mean you're more than likely to commit an act of domestic violence again?
4 is the least.
The least. You know what? There's some there that 1 is the least. That surprised me too. Okay, so you're the least. Did anybody? I mean, hopefully they're going to ask you questions, because the fact of the matter is that a lot of times they just see domestic violence. They don't ask any questions. They just don't hire you, or they don't ask any questions. They fire you. Did you ever physically lay a hand on anybody?
Nope, it was verbal.
Right. Hey, by the way, so overrated. When I did that show, Breaking Bonaduce, I used to have a reality show a long time ago, and I screamed my head off all the time at this chick. And they said, that's verbal something. What was it? Verbal... I don't know.
Verbal abuse?
Verbal abuse. I said, no, it's not verbal abuse. It's yelling. So you called somebody stupid?
I
Big
get verbally
deal.
abused every day.
Listen, yes, sir, you're so stupid. There, that's abuse. I got to be for God's sakes, what happened to the art of yelling? I think, first of all, I don't think they're going to find it, Brad, and they're not going to go back 7 years. And if they find it, people are, there's trouble brewing everywhere. When I was on probation, I was not allowed to be within 500 feet of somebody else on probation or parole. And I said, well, how do I know? And my probation officer said, if you get on an airplane, about 3 people are on parole or probation. And so, you know what? Your boss is not going to be really surprised that you were arrested 9 years ago. And did you plead out? I'm assuming you pled out.
Well, yes, and I have a kicker to this.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, being I was naive to it, I went to jail for the night, what have you, and I was going to court the next day. The public defender said, "Well," he said, "What's up?" And I said, "Well, dude, whatever. I've got to get to work. That's what I do. Is I go to work." He said, "Well, I tell you what, we can do this. You just plead guilty to this, no big deal, and I'll have you out today." I said, "Fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm a veteran of 12 and a half years. I wasn't worried about a little thing on my record."
Right.
They came with a no contact order and all kinds of stuff like that. Well, not knowing that the police officer was going to be making welfare visits, just to check how the supposed victim is doing and all this stuff.
Right.
Coming by the house all the time. I was going home, going to work, going home. I got a couple of those violation no contact orders.
Because you were living in the house?
Yeah. because I went home.
Oh, you should get a lawyer and look at this again. You're a public defender, and God bless those guys. They, for the most part, do their job. But you're a public defender. Let a no-contact order fly when you still live in the house. You were in violation every single day of your life. You need to go back to court. I know these things can get pretty expensive, but this is going to get muddy and murky. It already has. You got violated for when you shouldn't have in your own home, and now you feel like you might not get a job. I promise you can have this taken off your record. Get any decent lawyer. He'll go in there and they'll run it away. By the way, if they ask your ex-wife, will she say that you're a danger to her?
Oh, heck no. We're still together.
This is, you got to get a lawyer, absolutely. You know what you need to do, and I appreciate this call, Brad, but I'm telling you, you got to get a lawyer right now and get this off your record. And if you got a call for a lawyer, we're going to have one in tomorrow. Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones will be in tomorrow, so make sure you call. But right now, you need to call a lawyer and get this expunged off your record because it's going to start to cause you grief. Hey, that's all the time we have for Danny Bonaduce, life coach. But don't go anywhere. This is kind of cool. I was just talking about it.
And it is brought to you, by the way, by Goldberg Jones.
Divorce. We call 1-800-DIVORCE.